I know that we're starting to send a little more information out that's going to be coming out from our Optimist membership team. And I know Abigail and Sean are on our immediate, and Nick are on our immediate membership team. And we got a lot of things going. So we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in OI and the new information on the WOW, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But I wanted to give, I actually wanted to put Nick on the spotlight because we often get involved in some of these presentations, and I like to be able to share, in person how we deliver some of the presentations that we give. So I want to kind of share this one with you. It's very short. It's called Moving from Pause to Play, and I wanted to be able to bring you guys in because sometimes the smallest thing can make a lot of difference, like a little bit of music, like a little bit of sound, like a really special guest coming in. And those types of things make a lot of difference. So I want to kind of give you a feel for a very short presentation that Nick and I do. And we don't know whether it's successful or not, but we really like this music and we all kind of bounce around a little bit. And it gets people's blood pumping, makes them feel good. So we call it moving from pause to play. And what we got to do is we got to look at it and think about where we're at and where we've been. And we really have been on pause. And we're thinking that, on pause, we got to move forward. We got to do something different. So moving from pause to play, everybody's familiar what that means. And we got to change our paradigm, our way of thinking, got to move forward in the world. So, this pausing has caused us a lot of issues, a lot of concerns. And we just literally have just stopped. And I've talked for a lot of different reasons, whether it's the pandemic or, everybody's social distancing. So many things have affected us that we're kind of like, okay, we're going crazy now. We want to get excited. We want to do something different. So, we want to change the way we look at things. The organization and people are ready to jump out and they're ready to do something because now we have lived some of the problems that we've had going on for these days. We've actually been in it. We see the needs of people and everybody's kind of feeling the same way. Like, what we'd like to do is maybe help now and move in a positive direction. So, I think what it is I don't know, Nick, but it seems like it's time to do something different. So what do you think?
Russ, it's time to hit the play button. It really, I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been cooped up in my house and the social distancing and everything. And certainly we have to be careful, but I'm hungry to get out there and get things done. And I know my family, friends, neighbors, and others are anxious to get back and get re-engaged in life, re-engaged in the things we're doing in the community. We've just been waiting for someone to ask. And what we've got to do, we've got to start moving from in a state of inaction to being in action, to making things happen and getting things done. So let's move forward in optimism. Recognize the power within ourselves to make a difference, to celebrate our optimism by moving forward and spreading the tenets of our Optimist creed. I mean, we still have the mission that, our mission hasn't changed. We've got to show people that you can be happy, resilient, and successful by renewing our commitment to optimism. I personally think this is our time. This is the time when we show people what we are talking about, what our organization means to us, what the Optimist creed means. It's not just a bunch of words, it's a way to live. We have to stay focused on our message and get people to come out and make things happen. The next thing we have, it's really to up our game, to hit the fast forward button, because what we're doing, and some of you have already participated in this, already heard about our now programs and now events to become wow events, not a one and done kind of thing, but that all of our activities become a wow event, a place that we are showing people what we do. One of the things that we found out in our studies, and I've been in this organization for over 35 years, and one of the things where everybody comes together, we talk about, young people and millennials and Gen Xers and boomers and all that. One place that we all come together, one place that we all love to focus on, and that is projects and getting things done. And so the WOW program is a way to show people what we do. We don't tell them about what we do, we show them what we do, because members are the center of the Optimist universe. They bring new ideas, new energy, new leadership, and sometimes even a new direction to the clubs that they get involved in. We have to remember, always looking forward, and remember the best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. I think that's it, I think when we talk about new energy and new ideas and new direction, we're really fortunate to have Sean Mueller on our phone here. And I always like to put him in the spotlight because, what we do is we ask ourselves about, how we do the things we do at our club. And we're so used to doing things the same old way. And somebody asked Sean what he thought, about the new meetings that he is now. Sean, if you could just maybe take a minute and unmute and let everybody know that, where you came from, what's your history with optimism, and what do you think about these meetings that we have most of the time?
Well, thanks, Russ. Yeah. So I've been an optimist now for, I'm going to say, this fall is going to be my 13th year, and I'm only 24 years old. So how does that math add up? I spent 7 of my years in Joy. So I consider that an optimist because we follow the same format Optimist members do. So, and then I've been an adult member for the rest of that time. And with that, I've learned that seeing with meetings and such is that the traditional meetings are boring. They are absolutely boring. Most clubs meet either bi-weekly, twice a week, every week, bi-weekly, or once a month. And it's just a normal business meeting where you have a guest speaker, you give a couple announcements, and you're good. That's not what, at least my generation and part of the Generation X, Generation X's vision is, or feeling is on that. Like, we want meetings to, like Nick said it perfectly, is that we want to be active with projects. If you invite us to a meeting, you better be like a service project meeting, or like it better be a service project where you're actually doing it. That way, like again, Nick said, don't talk to us about it, show us, get us involved now. That's how we'll be gravitating towards everything. And while it is important to have those meetings, those business meetings, we want to kind of push those off a little bit and keep it for a different time, or invite members to those meetings that are active and service projects. I know Nick mentioned a couple months ago that his club in his district they have two club meetings a month. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, and they're all on community service projects. It's the first one's working on the service project, and then the second one is doing the service project.
Yeah, that's correct. We went from a meeting format, the regular meeting format, to a planning format. We're more project oriented than we are meeting oriented.
Yep, and that's exactly what we need to start kind of shifting towards for those clubs that are struggling with membership and wanting to get those new members in, is we want to focus away from the meeting and go into the project, because in the end, we are a community service organization. We serve our communities. So we need to focus on that first more than the meetings.
Yeah, so think about it. I always like to say, from the mouth of the youth, right? And Sean, he probably feels like he's getting old. I think he said he's 25 or something like that. But I'm almost. One day I'll be 3 times his age, but I'm not. I'm a little over 2 times his age plus. So I always like to get a little input from Sean, and we've been on quite a few Zoom calls, like most of you guys out there, and we're really excited at the direction and the opportunity that we have today that we really never had before. The positive part of where we're at and what we're doing today Now, a lot of the places in Canada haven't opened back up yet, but we're slowly moving from pause to play to open in the United States and the Caribbean. So it gives us an opportunity that we never had before, and that's the ability to talk to people that really know what hurt and sadness and stress is about because of the way that they've been living their day-to-day lives. So you compound that with what Sean and Nick are talking about when you talk about having project-oriented things and project-oriented programs. Now we're even up in the game a little bit there, because now we have the ability to say, oh, we understand it. Even us old guys, I like to, Gary, I'm talking about me and you, by the way. Even us old guys, we like to get out and do some projects and things. Now, I'm not much on throwing Christmas trees up anymore, but I'm sure good at being Santa Claus when I get everything growing in. So we find our niche and we go after it. And our responsibility for the districts is really to do that same thing, to get back to our club presidents and start sharing the information with them. And by the way, if you haven't seen the recordings of the WOW presentation that we've given a couple times, I'm going to resend it out to this team, and that way you can share it. And maybe a lot of people have seen it yet, but you can pick and choose. When we put together a video that's on YouTube, you can look at it and you can pick and choose and write down the time schedules of where things come in. And so you can share that specific information. On the WOW presentation, there's a part about boosting on Facebook. So if you're not good on Facebook, you can view that part of it. You can share it with your secretaries, treasurers, the members of your district. And so we're hoping to provide, and we are providing, more information that's available. As we start this next quarter out there, we're in a quarter called rallying, and what a great way to go into the next quarter, because typically we've gotten through a lot of the pandemic. We're opening up. People are getting more receptive. So it's time to start rallying. It takes each of us, every one of us that's on this call, got to step up our game a little bit. And a lot of times people tell me to slow down, go back into your cave, slow down a little bit. But, this is really the time that we need to get out there and start motivating our districts and working with them over different ways to do things. So, we're really pleased to be able to talk with you and bring you a little bit of information. I told you I'd mentioned a few things about Optimist International, the membership committee, which 3 people on this call are part of. We started a podcast, and I'll send you also a link to the first podcast we did. Nick, you want to tell Sean? Why don't you tell him a little bit about our podcast, because Sean's actually on that subcommittee. So why don't you tell him a little bit about the podcast we're doing? You didn't know you was going to have to present so much, did you, Sean?
Yeah, no. But yeah, jump in, Russ or Nick, if you have if I leave out anything. But so yep, Denise Nassif, who's the charge of it all, she's put everything together. And the first podcast, we're focusing on like the history of Optimist International, and it's a great way that we formatted it where we want to give it, it's not, our target audience is not just only the members, but it's also future members, people outside there. Like anybody can listen to it and they would understand it. So we were trying to focus away from like talking so much about the nitty gritty of Optimist International, like using the acronyms or talking about club awards or something, where we're just talking about the overall organization and what our communities our clubs serve in the community. And so the first one was done with Russ, Nick, Shane from the Alberta Saskatchewan district, and he was on there as well. And then they got the guest speaker of Dave Bruns, past international president, who wrote the book of the Optimist History of Optimist book, and they talked about that. And it was a great discussion, just hearing about the different things of Optimist International, spoken in like a straightforward manner that anyone could understand and anyone can listen to and be interested in to join. Right now we're focusing on we're trying to do for the next couple episodes, focusing on each tenet of the creed and making that about the topic of each podcast. So we're very excited to have it get going. I know with the publishing of it, we got a lot of people and sharing it. A lot of people have been watching it, and a lot of great feedback have been through it. So
Good job. Good job. Nick, you got something you want to add to that?
Well, the one thing is, if you have a story, or somebody in your district that has an Optimist story, something that happened in their life, something that optimism had a big impact on their life, or somebody they know, we'd like to know about that story, because we're collecting stories, because what we plan to do is to, as we move forward with this thing, is to feature those individuals. I mean, we're going to feature, members from across our organization to come and talk and tell us about optimism. And this whole thing, well, I'll give you just a real quick little background on this. The way this whole thing got started was Shane Newman, who is really a true cowboy and a rancher, raises cattle, was on his tractor one day, and he was listening to a podcast. And as he thought about that, he said, with optimism, why couldn't we do something like that? So he really became to Russ and said, look, what do you think about this? And then we put this thing together. And of course, we did the first one. But if you've got stories, or anybody's got a story, we want to know about it, because this is for everybody. I mean, this is not just the three of us that are hosting this thing. We're just hosting it. What we want is your stories, Optimist stories, things that have happened in your life and people around you that tell the story of optimism. So just keep that in mind as you're out there in your districts and in your club. If you run across something, great story, please let us know about it.
Absolutely. So talk to your districts. I know there's a lot of people have some great, testimonies. Call it what you want. Call it a testimony, or some great heart-touching stories that have happened to them through optimism. And our next few episodes, as they point out, is going to be about the tenets of the Optimist Creed. So, that first one, be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. There's probably going to be a story that's going to relate to every one of those tenets. And if we can make it more personable, better, and closer to your heart, we hope to be, we will record these, edit it out a little bit, and send them out to you guys so you can share them. Now, our intent has been, once now that we're really kicking in, is to get you some information, to get you some tools to help in your district, so you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. And you've heard me say that, but we're really coming through with that. We got a great membership team that you're hearing from tonight. Abigail is working on some stuff with elements based around membership, and so some of the obstacles and some of the questions that you might get asked that people say, how do I answer some of these questions? So Abigail's on that committee working through that, and that's stuff that's coming out. So each of the teams in OI have been tasked with working with the other facets of our organization. And if you haven't been on the LMS, I recommend that you go in. There's some great information. There's going to be so much more information on there. It's going to help you in your as you go into your district and try and get people motivated and turn back on. But I'm really excited about what Abigail and Nicole and these guys are going to come up with, because how many times you said, I don't know how to answer that question, that why do I got to pay, to serve in your community? There's so many things that questions that are out there. And we've all said it, well, how do you answer that question? So we try and we stumble. So Abigail and her group's going to try and put something. Yeah, Abigail.
You know how I answer that donation or that question? I tell them to consider it a donation, because the money that they're paying to be a member of the club most of it goes into projects and the exact things that we're doing for the kids. So I said, try not to think of it as dues or fees or this. Think of it as a donation right to the very heart of what we're doing. That's how I answer that question when I get asked that.
Yeah, and what a great way to do it. I mean, what a great way to do that. I mean, we do tend to get in our own mind, well, I don't have to pay money to do this, but when you think about it from a donation standpoint, and that's the type of things that that we hope that Abigail and her subcommittee will put together. So we're excited about that, and I mentioned that this is the rally quarter, so time for us to get out and start taking advantage of the wants and needs to deliver that to our clubs and to our districts. So it's getting ready. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I hope by the time you get off this call tonight, you get excited about it. But as we mentioned, the WOW program, and as I mentioned, I will send out that link to the WOW program and to our first podcast. And Denise is going to give me the how do you subscribe to the podcast, and I know that it's on right now. I found it on one of the podcast services. It's called Player FM, and it's out there. It's called Choose Optimism. So sometimes you can just search on podcast Choose Optimism, and that's the title of it. You'll be able to bring it up. And the first one's about an hour long, but again, you can look through it, pick and choose, play back, use it as a tool in your toolbox, and we're pretty excited about that. So we've got the WOW program that Nick was talking about, and making every service event, every event that we have, an event that is to wow members, to get them to get excited. And we mentioned last time, in order for us to get people excited, we got to be excited about it. Now I know Sue drives are really good. She's really great at what she does. I've been on some a district meeting with her, and that motivating and incentivizing is part of what we do. And the better job we do at that, the more growth we're going to be able to have. So I wanted to talk about the podcast and the WOW event and the rallying and all those types of things that get us excited, but really to tell me what's on their mind. Is there something that we can do for you? What would you like to see as we enter this last 6 months of our Optimist year? And talk to us and let us know what you would like to see from us, because I mean, we really are starting to drive on results, and we know as we move into the future, what you need and the questions you have are probably on everybody's mind. So, and if you've got a great program that's going on in your community or in your district or at your club, tell us about that, because we'll be able to share this recording with the other members of this team.
Thanks, Russ. Yes, sir, I do. Last night, I was on a Zoom meeting with the lieutenant governors, presidents, and leadership team, and I spoke about WOW. Now, I did my very best to explain it, but some of them are still confused about now to WOW. They don't understand. They said, it seems like it's the same. I did my best to explain it. So what I did, Russ, I forwarded the video to them that you had sent to us. And I said, now look at it. If you have any questions after that, get back with me. Then I'll call Russ.
Absolutely.
But also something I just like to mention, I don't know if the clubs do it, but my club, Metro Tuscaloosa, for our 30th anniversary, we were going to do a Zoom, and it was going to be a now Zoom. So we were inviting prospective members, and it was supposed to be tomorrow night, but I don't know if you heard, we have severe weather here in our area tomorrow, so we had to cancel it. But it will be rescheduled. So that is something we do. We celebrate our anniversary, like we did a 20th one, and we were able to do that in person. We had former members come back. It was just wonderful. It was really wonderful. So that's something we like to do. My club is celebrate our anniversary.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but Russ, I may be calling you. They're still saying, I don't know the difference.
You call me up. And that question, brings to mind that paradigm shift that we need to have in our organization, right? So when you say now, it's kind of like saying membership, eyes glaze over and ears turn off, and we go, oh no, I don't want to hear another thing about that. but you know, the wow is really that small little segment. It's like that right song that you think about and you hear. It's like the person that tells you something, you go, oh my gosh, that touches me. You know, that touches my soul, touches my heart. So that wow segment of it, it's so small, but it's so important, so big for us as we proceed into the last 6 months of our year. Because like I say, you talk about now banquet to Sean and to some of our younger members, they're going, oh my gosh, just get me out there, put me to work, let me help the community, let me do something different. And so you feel free to send them to me. And I like that you brought up that when you talk about virtual membership, and I'm going to throw, I just like throwing people on the bus here. So I'm gonna, since Bruce is there and we're doing something in the Gateway District that I want to volunteer our team to help you. But I'm going to, Bruce, if you don't mind, and Bruce is the district gateway guy. He's the membership man there. And I'd like Bruce to maybe tell you about this virtual wow event that we're going to set up, working in conjunction with the membership team for the Gateway District. So Bruce, take it away.
Hey, Russ, I'll be happy to. In fact, I have my hands raised, ready to go. One of the things that we keep hearing in the district is, you know, what is the district doing for the clubs? And after we took a look at our clubs, we surveyed our clubs, and we have some clubs that are meeting as normal. You know, they started back their normal meetings. Some clubs are meeting by Zoom or Facebook or some other electronic media. And then we've got some that haven't even started back at all. So, you know, we quickly realized that we've got a very diverse group of meeting situations that we needed to address. We established a team at the district level to come up with an idea of what we could do to support these clubs with hosting a WOW event. And what we determined we would do is we're going to do a virtual WOW meeting on March the 6th. It'll be a 1-hour meeting, and we've, through the help of Nick and Russ and our governor and our governor's wife and everybody, Gwen Gable on the team, we put together a series of flyers that we're sending out to our members and also to prospective members. We did purchase a email list that we're working on, and these are non-members at this point. They're just people within our district area that we're going to be sending out and inviting them also to the meeting. So, you know, we're asking our members to submit a prospect. They'll go to our district website. They'll submit that prospect, submit the name, the club that they're a prospect for, and the sponsor's name. And then from that point on, the district will be communicating back to those individuals and asking them to register for this meeting. So, you know, that's the logistics of getting them there. So what are we going to do when we get them there? We decided to do something a little bit different. We engaged one of the executive directors with John Maxwell Leadership Group to be our guest speaker. And we've highlighted him as our keynote speaker. We've asked him to speak for 15 minutes on the value of being an optimist, not from a club standpoint per se, but from an individual standpoint, the joy that it gives you, the sense of accomplishment it gives you, and what you can, how you feel individually as being an optimist. So he'll speak on that for 15 minutes, and then we'll go in more depth around what the Optimist organization is doing, from a little bit of the structure and how we function as an Optimist club. At the end of the meeting, the participants will be given the opportunity to sign up. We have a page on our Gateway site where they can go in and sign up. We'll also be providing this meeting for the clubs. Now, one of the things that we wanted to stress to the club is, this is not we're not trying to form a virtual club here. We're trying to give them the opportunity to gain more members in their club. So we hope it's going to be very successful. One thing we've talked about all along, the team has talked about all along, is establishing this is a playbook or a blueprint and perhaps if it, it could even be tweaked after we get through with it, and maybe offer this up to other districts if they want to follow this model. But it's a little bit different. And to Sean, to your point, we hope to go after a younger base, and we've heard what you said. I think it was very wise words from you about how we need to structure our organization going forward if we're going to attract younger people. I'm not a young person, as you can see, but I agree with you. Going to a meeting sometime and just hearing sometimes the same old thing over and over is pretty boring. So I'd rather be out doing something. And my club is not good at that. I'll admit that my club is not good at that. So we hope to spur some new folks in our midst, and we hope this is going to be successful. So that's about it, Russ. What to leave out?
No, I think you did a great job. Matter of fact, I'm ready to sign my district up. Oh, I am in your district, aren't I? I was going to say I'm ready to sign my district up now. But I mean, interesting to think about it as representatives of the membership team is that a lot of clubs, either are afraid to set up some type of a Zoom call or some type of membership event, a now banquet, a wow banquet. They're a little nervous about it sometimes. And what we're doing is offering you talk to your governors, talk to your membership, and talk to your presidents. And if you think it's a right mix, only you know what is what the capabilities and what people that you need, the hearts you need to touch in your districts, in your areas. So, if you think there's a value for us to come in and work with you and work with your governor to be able to set up a virtual type wow event, this event is only about no more than about 45 minutes long. We expect to have like we say, we've got a great speakers going to come in. We've got a couple salespeople, a couple closers onto it, and we got a follow-up process that we're going to be learning as we go through it. But sometimes it's just a matter of getting in front of people. And I think one of the items that Bruce was talking about is that he's went to every one of the presidents of the clubs, and I think that the Gateway District has 80 plus clubs out there, and he's going to them and asking them to provide, a couple people. So you go to the president goes to the members, and he said, if you've been a little hesitant to ask, or you don't know how to ask, see if you can take advantage and spare, 30, 40 minutes with us on April 6th. And we'll work through the details of it and try and get, the motivation, the excitement going, and we'll help you put it together. So, think about that as you go out into your districts. We're certainly willing to, as with the WOW program, Denise is absolutely willing to come out and give you the programs, and we're going to start sharing these videos, and we'll share you with the how this is going to work and what the results are. But we need to go a lot of different ways, and we need to go fastly, as past President Nick said. You got to get into fast forward, and this is the time. And often we're behind the 8 ball sometimes in Optimist International. And now we know this is the time. People are anxious. They're hungry. They know what helping, can do for them. And they're willing to take a little extra chance or step out on a limb and look at and join clubs like us. So we're hoping that we can make a difference. Yeah, Gwen?
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, Russ.
All right.
Bruce, were you speaking of, is it like a digital application you have these prospects fill out?
Yeah, Gwen, we have a couple of ways they'll be communicating back with us. First, for the members, it's a site on our website, the district website, to suggest a member. So that's the first step from a member's perspective. But we also have developed, with the help of Nick's developed several flyers or that we're emailing out to the list of that we purchased, the email list, and it has a link on there for them to go in and register for the Zoom meeting. And once they register, they'll get a response back about they're registered. And we're also planning on the day of the meeting to send a reminder back out with the Zoom meeting information. So, yeah, there is a register process for two reasons. One is we like to know how many people we're going to have on the meeting, obviously. But the other is if they register and if they don't attend the meeting, then we have an email list of some of people who have shown an interest or prospects if we want to go back to them later on. One thing I failed to mention, Russ, too, is I talked about our clubs being in various stages of restarting or coming out of the pause and hitting the play button. This is a quick start for them. The only thing they have to do is give us a name. If they give us a name, everything else is organized for them. And we have decided at the district level that if they provide a prospect, just one, let's say they provide one prospect, and that prospect attends this call, and even if they join or not join, they get credit for holding a now event, and that of course helps them with their honor club criteria.
Thank you.
So it's nice to be able to give you something that's fit, form, and functional. And like we said, we don't know what the effects are going to be, but the opportunity is there, and we're willing to work with you. Nick, you got something to say?
Well, all I was going to say, we talked about hitting the play button and fast forward. Well, that's exactly what Bruce and his district are doing. We've got to make some things happen out there, and so our district, I'm in the Gateway district also, we decided that we were going to go for broke. And what do we got to lose? And as Bruce said, this is to help our clubs, to help get our clubs, regenerated, so to speak, because some of them are slow getting out of the block. They need some help or whatever. So the district is stepping up and doing this, and we plan to do it. Of course, we'll test this one out and see how it works, and I'm sure tweak it. But we're planning to do this till the end of the year, because the idea here is to end the year positive in membership, and we believe this is a way to do it. But at the same time, we're going to experiment or whatever. But and like Russ said, and Bruce, I think also, we're doing this, and if we are successful or whatever, then the rest of you guys have, we'll provide you with as much of the information as we can to help you, from the flyers, everything. We're not keeping it all to ourselves. We're just pushing forward and trying to make things happen.
Yeah, great. It's a great point, Nick, and we appreciate that. Think about it. Flyers in itself sometimes is a big event, a big task, and a big obstacle for a lot of clubs. They don't have the people that have that ability, and we're fortunate to have Nick on our team, who's been working in marketing and graphics for only about 40, 50 years or something like that. So we use him for his expertise every chance we get, and it's nice to be able to when we go to market and when we start talking about these programs, to have some ready-made flyers. When I send out those links to those videos, I'll attach a couple of those flyers just to let you know. And Nick, I believe, I'm not going to volunteer you, but I believe you have volunteered that if they wanted something like what you've got and just more customized to their district or their club, you'd be willing to work with that. Is that
Sure, we'll help them. Yeah, definitely.
So, again, providing you some resources, some tools and things that you need. So let's see. I know we started off on questions, and that always gets us into something else. So is there any other observations that anybody on the team wants to make, or a question? Remember what I asked was, is there anything we can do for you, how we can help you, what your needs are? And so think about that. Has anybody got another observation, a great thing that's going on in the club? Abigail?
Just a little point of fact that's worked over many, many, many years for the Tamarack Optimist Club in Denver, Colorado. Apparently we had a crystal ball, because we've been doing WOW for years, and we do it in the form of a celebration once a year. It's our club's birthday party, not birthday parties for the members, but our club's birthday party once a year. And the members, It's not a meeting in any way, shape, or form. It is simply a fun event. It's usually out at a park. We play games. We have awesome food that we either cook ourselves or whatever the case may be. And people invite their friends. And on average, over the many years that we have been doing this, we usually get 3 or 4 new members every single time. And it works perfectly. And it's just exactly like a wow event.
Yeah.
It's just that we never called it that. So we had a crystal ball without knowing that we were doing it right, I guess.
Yeah. I wish I had that same crystal ball when I put some investments into home delivery for food, but that was about 6 years ahead of its time.
Right. I'm just saying that this wow thing can work, and it just doesn't have to look like a meeting. It can just be any amazing fun project, fundraiser that you have other people come to, and it works.
Absolutely. I mean,
My 2 cents.
we know when we get out from behind the table, of our membership booths and our membership events. And when we get out behind the table and we start engaging people and we start showing them the programs and projects and talk about the life-changing experiences, we know that it makes a difference. And for those that been governors or are governors right now, they know that we gotta be the cheerleader. I think that's what Nick always told me. He said, Russ, you got to be the cheerleader. And of course, I was always, always had a problem with getting out in front of people and talking, but I think I got over that since I've been in optimism for a few years. So how about any questions, any concerns, anything that's going on that's great? We got about 10 minutes left, but that don't mean we have to spend that 10 minutes. I got a commitment to send you some information after I'm done. It'll be in your inbox by the morning. How about it? Gary, anything, or Rich?
I'll jump in. I've got a couple of things that came to mind while you guys were talking. Have any of you folks used MailChimp?
I have.
Our district uses it.
Okay. I've only had a couple reasons to use it for my club, and I'm wanting to start integrating it into our district communications, because you have so many nice things with that program that allows you to invite friends, and also if you don't want it, you can back out, so you don't spam your email box. So anyway, just one of those things that I was throwing around in my mind.
Yeah, and we don't want to never underestimate the value of technology. I've been on multiple meetings where we've been talking about people that've been using Facebook for years, and I know of 2 people. I can't think of their name right off the bat, but one of them may be in Sue's area out there. But this lady's been using Facebook, and she's brought in 50 members, over a few years, and that's pretty amazing when you think about technology and the things that drive. Now, Facebook maybe to Sean is a little old, but it does still get a few of us older people in there, and we are still out there and looking at it. So you can't underestimate the value of technology of Facebook, and that's going to be in one of the videos that I send you. Going to talk about Facebook and boosting. Sue, how about it? You got anything?
For that, and echo a lot of the kinds of things that have already been brought up is, all of our clubs in our district are in different places coming out of the pandemic, some of which haven't met, some that are meeting virtually, some that are doing a hybrid form of meeting, and so on. So we run the gamut like many districts, and just getting people to try something is better than trying nothing. And so, and I would also echo that there are many clubs who have been inviting members to their activities and getting members that way for years. And so now we're putting a title to it and reinforcing it. And I think that does help take the pressure off and that constant drone of, you got to go out and build clubs, you got to get new members, and it's new members, and it's new members. And people start turning a deaf ear and walking the other direction. So looking at it from a little different lens, I think is helpful. We did actually in our district have, at least the first that I've heard of, the first virtual now meeting. And I'm feeling pretty confident that the club that hosted it a week ago today it's going to get some members out of it. And they were very thorough and very systematic in their planning and in their delivery. They had a list of, it's a small club, under 30 members in their club. They had, I think, 10 or 12 prospects, 8 of which came to the meeting. 1 signed up at the meeting, and I'm aware of 3 or 4 more that may. So club had never done anything virtually like that before. In fact, haven't held a now or any membership meeting for years. But the fact that they said, we're going to try it, we're going to see if we can make it work, it's really encouraging. And I think members in our districts need to hear of those encouraging stories to kind of light the fire for others. So just spreading the good news, I guess, is what I take away from that. Thanks.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of like the Just Ask program, you know, just try it, right? Just try it. And I always think back about, you know, the fundraiser that we had that was a golf tournament. And when I was president, and everybody told me you can't do it, it's not going to work. I found out that, you know, it can still work. You know, it's a matter of who's driving and what the, you know, how excited you are and how you present it. There's so many different things that make a difference. So even if you tried it, you know, and it failed, you know, who was it that the light bulb, right? Edison tried it 100,000 or 1,000 times or something, you know, and he got the light bulb. So, I mean, that's it goes a long way. So just try it. Just ask. Can't ask for much more than that. The membership team is there for you. Bruce, what did you have?
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment about Facebook, and I think it's something we often overlook. I know a lot of clubs have a Facebook page, and you know, people like outside of the club do a like of the page or following the page. Sometimes I don't think we use those people as a prospect list like we should. Somehow we need to get that information and use them. They've already expressed an interest in their club. They're following the club for some reason. It might have been a project we did, or it might just been a general interest. But I know my club's got close to 1,000 people that are following it. But we post to it, but we never really follow up with those people. So if there's some way we can figure out how to get to those people, because hey, they've already said they liked us. So
yeah,
that's a good source of prospects.
I mean, there's so many things and opportunities that are out in front of us that we felt, and the one that I always hear quite often, more so recently, is the Joy Club. You know, the Joy Club has lots of parents, right? Lots of people that already know what we do, and they can appreciate the changes that their young adults have been through. And we just kind of let that go by the wayside when we really ought to be actively supporting and trying to get those people into our club. So, I mean, there was Facebook with the Joy Club members, and following up with the Joy Club after, they get out of Joy. You know, I think that's something I heard Sean say, you know, once they're out, you got to go, you got to keep contact with them. You need to get them. So if all we do is learn a couple little small secrets through these events, these meetings, I think we're going to be so much better off. Again, I'm going to wrap up unless somebody's got something, last second. And if you put your hand up, I'll get you. If not, thank you for your time. We got a membership team of about 10 or 12 people that are absolutely hungry to help you. They're good at what they do, and I'm real proud of them. So thank y'all for your time, and come back same time next month, and we'll see you then. So thank you so much for everything. We appreciate you guys. Just keep optimistic, right? Bye-bye.
Bye, Ross.
Bye-bye.